Yeah, we normally saw that the normal functions, right? So we are gonna define that functions using def keyword, then function name, and we are going to pass the required parameters to that. So here one new concept came into picture, that is lambda functions. So what is the advantage with the lambda functions? How we can create it? So such a things we are gonna see now. So normally the normal function it can be in any number of lines. For function definition going to take one line, then inside that we are going to have the remaining whatever operation we want to do. All those statements we are going to specify inside that function. But when it's come to lambda function, it is like limited to one line. Anonymous functions, like we are going, like we can call that as anonymous functions as well. Why? Because there is no name for lambda functions. We are not going to have any name. Okay, for normal function, we need to give the name def, then the function name we need to give. But for lambda functions, we no need to give any name. That's why we are calling the lambda functions as anonymous functions or nameless functions. And we are going to complete that function or whatever operation we want to do with the lambda, we can complete in single line. That they are limited to one line. Okay, they are limited to single line. Let's see how we can do. Okay, for now I want to do addition of two numbers. Okay, I want to do addition of two numbers. Okay, how we can do that? Simply lam. So see, lambda is a keyword which going to indicate that is a lambda function. Okay, lambda is a keyword. So these are the parameters I'm passing here, and I want to do a plus b. That's it. And you can assign this to a variable. Okay, you can assign this to a variable. See what I'm doing? This is limited to one line. So now in normal function, what you need to do, you need to give like this def, and then you should pass all the required parameters here. Then you are going to do in this way, right? A plus b, and finally you are written or you are going to print c. Okay, but if you see the whole three lines of code here, we converted to single line. Only one line we completed. So that is the advantage with lambda functions. Okay.
Yes.
And now we saw, right? Now here just you need to do like print add of, I want to sum 10 plus 20, 10 plus 20. So save it, and then if you do like just run it. Enter. See, you got the output, right? So you can do that in these three lines, or you can complete it within one line by using the lambda functions. Okay, clear guys, what is lambda and how we can create it? You, if you want to do addition of three
Yeah.
numbers, yes, you
Yes.
can pass three parameters here. You can do like this. Okay. Now I have a requirement. Okay. So I want to create a function with lambda, and it should, whatever input I'm going to give, it should return square for that, or it should return cube for that. Okay. It should return cube for that. So how we can do? Just take the function inside this normal functions. You can use the lambda. Okay. This is my number. Return lambd lambda a colon a star n. Okay. So then how we can do square, right? See, it printed the square. If you instead of 11, if you pass here 15, it will give you 15 square. See, 225. So here what I'm doing, this double star indicates square operation. Okay, so double star indicates square operation. That's why I took here. And here I am the value of n. The value of n I am passing as 2. Okay, the value of n I am passing as 2. So this n indicates is it square. I want to, if I want to do square, you can pass 2. If you want to do cube, you can pass 3. If you want to do power of 4, you can pass 4 here. Okay, it will whatever value you passed with this function, it's going to replace the value of n. Okay, later whatever the value you are going to pass with this square, it's going to replace the value of a. Okay, you can have any number. Again here you can like cube equals to of 3. I want to get 3 cube. 3 cube 27, right? So see, I defined one time, but based on my requirement, if I want square, I can use that for square. If you want to do cube, I can do that with cube. So inside function also you can use, but its lambda is limited to single line. This is how we can reuse it. Okay, clear? So in normal function, if you want to do the same operation, how you need to do? You need to pass both the values. You need to pass both the values, and you need to calculate that here. Written. So it's gonna do 3 square. Correct, it's gonna do 3 square. A value is 3 and n value is 2. But here you can't create a separate operation. See here, this square, for what I'm doing the square. Here I'm doing the cube. I can do for power of 4. So I can define separately. When it's come to lambda function, I can, for each operation, I create separate function using the same function itself, but I can define some separate operations with that. Like the function definition is same, okay, but I can create different objects, different similar objects, but the value is going to change. This is square, this is cube, like that we can do. But with this normal functions, we can't do that. But whenever we're using this lambda, we can do that. Okay. So it's going to return you the lambda object, and the lambda object it will assign to the square, and whatever data you passed here, that will be replaced here. This is how it will work. Any doubts? Or do I need to repeat it?
Yeah, if you can come again, it will be good.
I'm not able to hear you, Deepa.
If you can come again, the last part, it will be good.
Last part in the sense.
F function.
This one.
Yeah.
This is normal function, right? So I want to do the power. I want to do power of two values. So for that, I created a function called fun, and for that, I am passing the two parameters, as I need two parameters to complete the operation. And finally, I am doing I am using I'm applying the power operator, and here if you pass 3 comma 2, a value will become 3 and n value will become 2. If you give 5 comma 6, a value will become 5 and when n value will become 6. So this is how it's going to work. But you can't create any separate function, separate object for square, separate object for cube. Such a things you can't do with this normal functions, but those you can do with the help of this lambda functions. Okay, you can use this square, this square instant. to do square of any number, if you want to do square of any cube of any number, you can use this cube instance. So separately you can do, but here that is not possible with normal functions. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So in Python, we have three different Lambda functions. One is map, then filter, and finally reduce. Okay, let me start with map. So why we are going to use map in the sense? So if you want to, I have list of values, okay, or I have iterate like a list of like I have one iterators in the sense we can iterate over that, right? So just you can consider an example of list, and I have list of values. Okay, I have a list of values, and I want to print square of each number. So I need to print 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, 4 square, 5 square. So 1 square is 1, 2 square 4, 3 square 9, 4 square 16, 5 square 25. This is my output. So here the operation is same, and each element I want to perform same operation. Okay, and each value in the list I want to perform same operation. At that time we can use this map. Okay, at that time we can use this map. So how it will work? So normally map will take two parameters. Okay, map will take two parameters. One is the operation that you want to perform, and next one is the iterator, means if you want to pass list you can pass like that, whatever on which variable or on which list you want to perform that operation, that list name you can pass as second parameter. Okay, and any iterator you can perform that operation, but here I am taking the example of list. So first of all, what I want to do, I want to do square. Okay, so here we are going to use lambda space a colon a square. And I told you, right, the second parameter is list. Let me convert this to list because it's going to return map object. You can convert that to a list by using the list constructor, means list function. See, it printed you the square of each number. So what I'm doing, I want to apply the same operation on each element. I want to apply the square operation on each element in the list. Instead of going with the for loop, and you need to use normally for loop, right? You need to use for loop, and you need to take a new list. After doing the square, you need to append that to that new list. But instead of doing whole thing, you can simply do that in one line by using map function. Okay, so map going to take two parameters. One is the lambda, that is the operation that you want to do, and the next one is the iterator, means on which variable you want to perform the operation. That variable you need to pass as second parameter. So map going to take two parameters. One is the operation, and second one is the iterator or list, on which variable you want to perform the operation. That variable name you need to pass as second parameter. Clear how map is working and what is the purpose of map? For example, for each number I want to add 5. For each number I want to add 5. So what you can do, a plus 5. Run it. See, 1 plus 5, 2 plus 5, 3 plus 5, 4 plus 5, 6 plus 5. Same operation. So on each element you should perform same operations. If you are using map, the same operation it will perform on each element. Okay? Clear what is map? Very important concept. Lambda 1 is very important concept. It will simplify the code. You no need to write multiple lines of code. Even in one line you can complete it. Clear what is map? I'm asking you the guys.
Yes.
Any doubts?
No.
Then we have filter. So by the word itself you can understand it's going to filter out some data based on the condition. Okay, it's going to filter out the data. Okay, for example, I have a list. Okay, So what I need to do, I want to list out all the even numbers. For that, what we use to do, same, we knew we are going to use for loop, and there we are going to divide that number by 2, and if the remainder is 0, we are going to tell it's a even number and we are going to print. This is lengthy procedure, but here with this lambda function we can complete it in single line. Let's see how we can do. So instead of map, you need to use filter here. Same, the filter also going to take uh, two parameters. One is your filter condition and then is the variable name on which you want to perform the operation. So what I want to do, what I can check, if the number is divisible by 2, then it is even number, right? So same thing you are going to do here, lambda a colon, if it is divisible by 2, if it is divisible by 2, then I am going to take that as even number. Sorry, see, in one line you for the first parameter you added your condition, and second parameter you pass the list from which you want to extract the even numbers. See, lambda a percentage 2 equals to 0. If this condition satisfied, it will consider that as a even number and it will print you. Okay, in one line you can complete it. Okay, so based on certain criteria or based on certain condition, if you want to filter out the data from a iterator, you can use filter. Okay, clear?
Yeah, it is.
And finally we have reduce. So I think everybody remembered we did like sum of all the elements in a list or multiplication of all the elements in a list. So for that we defined one variable, then we used looping. Again inside that with that new variable we use it to do the multiplication and all, right? Finally we are returning that variable. So here without all those things we can complete in one line with use by using reduce. So the output of reduce is always a single number. The single number it's going to give as output, a single value. Okay, if you see for map or filter, you are going to get multiple values, but in case of reduce, it's going to give you single value as output. Okay, so you should import it from Gitter tools. Okay, you should import this map and filter, you no need to import from anywhere, but when it's come to reduce, you should import it from iter tools. Iter tools is nothing but a module in Python. So from is a keyword and import is a keyword. Okay, so from iter tools, so what I'm telling here, from this module I want to import this reduce so that I can use it. Directly you can use. So you no need to write any separate code to use this reduce. Just from this iter tools, you can import this reduce and you can use it. So from and import both are keywords. This import is used to import some data from modules or from libraries. If you want to import or if you want to use the data, then we can use this import keyword. Okay. So I want to get, and you can take a tuple here if you want. So I want to get some of all the elements from this tuple. So what you can do, you can use reduce. Okay, and same here it's going to take the two parameters. Okay, and one is the operation that you want to do, and the second one is the iterator on which you want to perform the operation. Here addition, when we can do addition, we at least we should have two numbers, right? At least we should have two numbers and then we can perform the addition. Same thing applies here. Lambda take 2, so that what it will do, it will take first to 2, then next it will take next to 2, then it will take next to 2, like that it will work. Okay, then yeah. iter tools. Import error. 1 second, guys. It is iter tools only. Sterling unknown location. Sorry, that is func tools, not iter tools. It is func tools. The module name is func tools, not iter tools. Yeah, see, you got the output. So what it's doing, finally it's returning you single value as output, and it's doing addition of each number. So what it will do, first it will a comma b, it will take 1 comma 2. What is 1 plus 2? It's 3. Okay, then 3 plus it will take this 3. 3 plus 3 6. Then 6 it will take, and then b value will be 4. 6 plus 4, like that it will work. Okay, clear how ready is going to work?
Yes.
Any doubts? These are the three lambda functions we have. Let me just revise it. Okay, so first of all, what is a lambda function? Lambda functions are nameless functions, are anonymous functions, and the code is limited to one line. Okay, so using the lambda keyword we can create lambda functions. Okay, we have three types of lambda functions. One is map, next filter, and finally reduce. So when we are going to use map, so on some iterator or some list or on some tuple, if I want to perform same operation on each element, then I can use map. And if I want to filter out some data based on some condition, like filter out even numbers, filter out odd numbers, or filter out the prime numbers. So if you want to filter the data based on some condition, you can use filter. Or if you want to fetch all the values which are divisible by 5 or which are divisible by 3, such a things you can do with filter. Okay, and finally reduce. Reduce is going to return a single value as an output. Okay, we need to import that from functools module, and it we can do like getting some addition of all the elements in from a list, or getting multiplication of all the elements from a list. So such a things we can perform with the help of reduce. Any doubts?
No.